Hello and welcome to a brand new Quantum Canine. Good morning, Kevin.
Good morning, Tricia.
I'm Tricia Selbach, and we are going to start off today's show with putting you a little bit on the spot.
Okay.
We went on the street and got some questions from people, and we have our first question, and we'd love to hear what you have to say about our first question. So here's our first video clip, our first question of the month. It's coming, believe me.
It's an existential question, apparently.
Yes, and we're supposed to just use telepathy to hear the question.
That's true.
My dog's name is Clyde, and he really truly lives up to the name Clyde. I was in Bonnie and Clyde. He's a major thief, and he likes to nab things and take them and run away and not give them back to you. Is there any way that we could break him of the habit of just grabbing something and taking off and not giving it back?
Question. Awesome. Sound.
What?
All right,
Let's stab that one.
yeah, that's a great question. Actually, we look at it from the human point of view, the dog stealing from the owner chasing the dog, and the dog doing something wrong, and the owner wants to break it, and so on and so forth. But that's the most energy that dog gets out of its owner, and therefore it's getting the most reward possible, even though it's a dysfunctional way of communicating per se. Energetically speaking, the dog is getting such a return on the investment, which is why it gets stronger and stronger. It becomes the thing they can fight over. So from the owner's point of view, he thinks they're fighting. If the dog could put into words, so you think we're fighting, I think we're finally talking.
You're right, we're finally with the dog, and from the dog's point of view, they're playing.
Well, energy's moving.
Energy's moving.
Energy's moving.
Oh, because he grabs it and then he runs.
Yeah,
and, the
and he is afraid of the owner, but it's worth it because there's so much energy that he gets such outbursts from the owner. So the way to turn that around is to give the dog even more energy in a holistic way, a healthful way, appropriate way.
For example, with playing with a toy of
some
sort?
the tug-of-war toy. I guarantee if that owner takes his dog into a situation when there's a lot going on, the dog will not play with him.
I see.
And that's the real way to solve that problem. Rather than thinking in terms of breaking the dog, if you could understand the dog's point of view, you could realize he's trying to connect with his deepest energy to his owner, and this is the only way he has figured out how to be able to do that.
So the dog's just looking to express energy and to connect with the owner.
Exactly.
And so if the owner was to start playing with the tug toy, with the push-a-war that you've shown us.
Yeah, what I would do if I was him is I would put something in position what the dog would normally steal.
Okay.
And maybe make it an acceptable play toy, and then really start praising the dog for stealing it and running away from the dog and trying to get the dog to follow him with that toy in his mouth. And even if he would, let's say, steal something, a glove or a pot holder or something, I would do the same thing. Oh, good boy, good boy. And I'd go and hide all over the house and get him to give it to me. Then I'd give him a cookie. And eventually, though, you want to be able to play with him outdoors with this bite toy. It's much more powerful and much more fun.
And then the dog's not going to want to steal
then the
anything
dog
off the
doesn't
counter
need to do
anymore.
that. Right.
Okay, well, that's great. Thank you for that.
Yeah,
and
my pleasure.
we're going to have a word from our first sponsor. Coming up any second now. We're just getting this new format down, so bear with us a little bit.
Fat Frank's is a proud sponsor of Quantum Canine. Fat Frank's has stone ground mustards and micro-brewed beers, French fries, locally made sausages, chili cheese dogs.
Fat Frank's.
Fat Frank's proudly sponsors Quantum Canine.
Well, that was fun.
There's one happy dog and
Yeah.
one happy hot dog place.
Yeah, that was great. So the main topic we're going to talk about today is barking.
Right.
And, there seems to be a lot of problem barking, a lot of, dogs barking a lot. I seem to have sort of the opposite trouble with my dog, as he doesn't bark.
Right.
And so what is the purpose of barking, and why do we want our dogs to bark on command?
Well, barking in the problem sense is a state of conflict. So if we can get our dog to bark in a whole body mechanics, we can turn a problem behavior into an appropriate behavior that we can control and that the dog won't do inappropriately.
So could you give an example of that?
Well, if you look at the barking, first of all, you want to look at where is my dog's bark coming from.
Okay.
And any bark that's coming from the head is hectic. It's just as if there's a generator in the head and it's grinding and grinding, and that energy isn't rooting down deep, deep into the gut, which, as I believe I mentioned earlier, is another brain, the little brain in the gut, the enteric nervous system, otherwise known as the emotional brain. So if that energy goes down to the gut and then cycles back up and comes out as a bark, it's metered, it's very deep, it's the whole body is a resonating chamber, and the dog is calm.
So there's two different kinds of barking
Right.
you're saying. There's that really high-pitched yip, 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 yip bark,
Right.
and then there's a woof.
Right. So if a dog's really grounded and he's encouraged to bark appropriately, then that's where his barking goes. So one of my expressions is you don't teach a dog not to bark. You teach him when to bark, where to bark, why to bark, how to bark.
So a lot of people have dogs that just bark at everything, and they can't see any rhyme and reason to it. My problem is I can't get my dog to bark at all. He doesn't bark at anybody or anything. And
Yeah, barking depends on a state of conflict. There's two kinds of conflict. One you could call negative contrasting, if you will. One you can call positive contrasting. So if a dog wants something, he's really positively drawn to it, and there's some kind of barrier, we call that positive barking. And that'll be a very deep-rooted barking.
okay, I've seen he does that kind of
Right.
barking.
If a dog is feeling anxious about his connection to what he wants, that's that hectic barking up in the head. And that's what is so annoying about it and problematic about it. Also, it's incessant. It can
Right.
never get to satisfaction because it's not involving that second brain, which is the hunger circuitry, which is when an organism recognizes that something is done.
So how do you work with a dog that has that hectic barking? Say that, every time a man walks in the room, they just yap, 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 yap. How do you?
Yeah, well, first you teach him when to bark, why to bark, where to bark. So I
So you'd be
tie him
working
up.
on the bark, the deep bark
Right,
first. That would be
right.
your first step.
Right.
Okay.
And barking correctly is very efficient to a dog and feels good. I can get into a little deeper what else is going on, but we'll just leave it at that for the moment. So I will tie a dog out, I'll tease him with a little piece of food and hold it away from him. And every time he vibrates, he doesn't get the food. And when he starts to settle down, I'll zing him with the food. So he's starting to learn that this efficient way of relating to me is how he gets the food. And then once he gets grounded into his gut, because he's really interested in the food, and he is indeed getting the food going into the gut, then I start to add energy to the frustration. He gets frustrated, and little by little, a bark will come out. Actually, before the bark will come out, you'll see him lick his lips, and I'll reward that. So anytime I see him referencing his hunger system, his deep gut, I'll reward him.
Well, we have a clip of you trying to get my dog to bark,
Right.
and the barkless dog. So we'll show that clip and show your techniques of how you get a dog to bark. And then you gave me the assignment of trying
Right.
to do it over a course
We're
of
going to
time.
teach a dog
Right. Go ahead.
bark on command. Why do we want to teach a dog to bark on command? The reason is to change the way it feels. Dogs go by feel. Whatever they feel is all they know what's happening. So if we could actually manipulate how they feel so they end up feeling good to make things happen, it changes their whole perspective, their whole attitude. You can see what's going on inside the dog when you do the barking behavior. So here's the food. Speak, speak. Right now he's referencing, when he licked his lips there, he was referencing his gut. A state of attention is made of two beams. One is the obvious focal gaze. The other is a subliminal beam of attention. Speak, come on. Come on. Speak. Oh, good, good, good. Yeah, good. Speak. Speak. Good, good, good. A little tiny bit of energy is leaking out of his muzzle. Speak. Speak. Good, 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 good. Now you can see the dog wants to act on this energy. When I'm putting him in a state of conflict, that makes energy. Good, good, good. He wants action, which we want to get more focused, calm energy. Speak. Yeah, good dog, good boy. Yeah. Speak. 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 Yeah, good. Now if you listen to the bark, he's all referencing his big brain in his head. There's also a little brain in the gut, and that's where we want the bark to come from. Speak. Good. Every time he licks his lips, his subliminal focal beam is going down to his deep gut. Speak. Yeah, good. Good dog. Speak. Yeah, good dog. Yeah. Speak. Good. Speak. And when a dog is hectic, he doesn't want a reference down in his deep gut because that is the center of all fear, vulnerability. All the bad experiences get cataloged down and deep down. Speak. Oh, no. Up. Speak. Come on, speak. Good. You've got to fight through a condition of paralysis. Now the jaw's starting to loosen a little bit. He's little by little learning, if I hold my focal beam down in my gut, speak. Yeah, good. I get what I want. That makes the world work. Speak. So another way to look at this is the dog is learning how to communicate with a human directly. Look me right in the eye and woof, this is what I want. Speak. And a dog that expresses itself clearly and directly is no danger in any situation. Speak. Good. Come on. Speak. Yeah, good job. Now we may not get a bark in the first session. Speak. Yeah, there we go. Good. Speak. Whoa. Up. Speak. Point. Speak. Come on. Good. You may not be able to see it. You can actually see him dip down, lick his lips, and almost come out with a bark. Good. Good dog. Speak. Come on, speak.
Well, that was interesting. And then you gave me homework and you told me to do it. Keep doing it.
The main thing with Athos is you can see he has so much prey instinct. He's paralyzed. He's just so channeled into acting on impulses that he just doesn't have much of a block in him. So feeling blocked, he's not. He goes into action. It's hard for him to bark.
Maybe you could define for me the difference between prey drive and prey instinct, because you said he has a lot of prey instinct,
right.
But that's different from prey drive.
Yeah, prey instinct is reflexes and energy just builds up in the big brain, and then it's the very rudimentary meaning of the word where they chase something that's moving.
Okay.
So the object of attraction is channeling all the energy in the predator. The prey runs, the predator chases.
So it just makes them want to move or react
right.
in some way.
Prey drive, and this is why barking is important, prey drive is the projection of its self, and we can be very specific what a self is, but the dog projects itself into the object of attraction and then goes by feel, not by reflex.
So if the dog is able to project itself into the object of attraction, then when the object of attraction moves, the dog can feel it. And
right.
You're saying that with prey instinct, they're not feeling it,
they're
just chasing
exactly. And they just,
I see.
Right, that's what limits a cat. So for example, a cat hunts birds, but it can't hunt birds like a dog can.
Right.
Through the owner, through the handler, through the gunner.
So it's really important to channel those prey instincts into prey drive.
Yes.
And you would use barking.
Barking is a great way to get the dog to project itself into the owner so the owner can play with that and make energy for the dog, so you're rewarding him for not doing prey instinct.
But doing prey
which we'll get into
drive.
when we talk about the dog with chickens, I believe, for the next
Right,
segment. Yeah.
right.
So you can only do that with drive. Prey instincts, if the dog's prey instinct can't find application and he doesn't have drive to go back with, he has to give up or fry or avoid.
Well, can you give me a little bit of example of that? I didn't follow that last
Yeah.
part quite as good as I would like to. So if the dog doesn't have prey drive,
Then he has to give up if things aren't working.
I see.
But if a dog has prey drive, he can learn perseverance and doing things circumspectively rather than on-off.
So he almost has more
He
flexibility.
has
in
much
his
more
behavior.
flexibility, and then when he's doing things circumspectively, he's not experiencing any loss of energy.
I see.
Which the prey instinct will. The
So-
prey instinct will have to give up or collapse.
So it's gonna almost more like the more sophisticated behaviors. Like if you have more prey drive, if if that's more available, then you can mold the dog. The dog
Right.
can have more
Right.
sophisticated behavior. So when you see
Yes.
like golden retrievers or labs, when they do all that sophisticated, duck hunting stuff, which
Right.
I can't comprehend, and the gun and
Yeah.
the duck and all that stuff.
Yeah, all the little steps in the training, the dog doesn't perceive it as interruptions. It perceives it as I'm getting closer.
I see.
So even though it's actually in police dog training, we teach the dog to go away from the criminal to get the criminal from behind. But we don't want him losing velocity. He feels I'm going away to get closer. It's on a continuum.
So what are some good things for dog owners to? Well, first of all, I think a lot of people have a reaction to the prey instinct. I think they either don't recognize it or feel fear around it.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate because your dog has it, i.e. the word
Right.
canine.
Every dog does.
Those are canine teeth to seize
Right.
prey. So your dog has it whether you know it or not, or are comfortable or not, so you might as well get comfortable with it.
Right.
Plus, it's like your car has power to it. You might as well get comfortable with it because it's got it.
Right, because you're going to want to drive it. So
Yeah.
with your dog, first get comfortable with the idea that they do have prey instinct.
And we want to change it into prey drive.
Prey drive.
Because the beauty about prey drive is that force of attraction it can then be channeled into work, and the dog doesn't go after the very prey that it evolved to hunt. It's working for the human at this point.
So because it won't hunt the deer directly, or it won't hunt a duck directly.
Plus, it gets more energy from being in drive than just doing this prey instinct. It actually feels better to the sheep herding dog to herd the sheep than to kill a sheep, even though the prey predator modality is the beginning of the whole behavior.
Right, even though you'd think it would just want to.
You think that would be the highest expression, but it actually isn't.
So that's what's
That's why an angler likes to play the fish. Let's look at instinct versus drive in that
Okay.
context. When the kid first starts fishing, he gets the fish and he reels it in as hard as he can. The fish
Right.
gets away.
Right.
He gets that collapse. And then after that, he learns to stay in drive, to play with the fish. It's much more fun to play with the fish than just to catch the fish.
So when an owner isn't working with the prey drive, then these instincts come out,
Right.
which would be maybe a dog chasing a car.
Right.
Because
At least it's downloading
It's
energy.
downloading
Or grabbing
something.
the kitchen towel and
Right,
running away from the owner
right.
with.
Whatever the problem behavior is, it's
Right.
sort of prey instinct taking over.
Right.
And so how do you change those prey instincts into prey drive? Well, the other things you've talked about before, the pushing exercises and the tug of war.
Well, you have to
and-
have a bite object in common.
Okay.
I want you to want that.
Okay.
So that's good. But the barking is really therapeutic, because to do a whole body bark, they have to project their self into you. And that's the beginning of drive training.
And that's really hard for my dog, so.
Yeah, he's so locked up with, just hanging around the house, his little prey instinct was getting reinforced all the time.
Right,
So you got to backtrack now.
right. I got lazy.
But you didn't violate his prey nature, his
Right.
predatory nature, which is why he's a sweetie pie.
Right. Okay, well, we have our next topic that we're going to talk about is our puppy. And the one thing that I don't really understand that's going on is we put the collar on her, and she really flipped out. And so
And what do you mean by flip out?
once we put it on, she was jerking around, looking at it. You'll
Just
see
the
it.
collar or collar attached to a leash?
Just the collar.
Okay.
So she's turning around, looking at it. The scratching I can understand, but running like something's attacking her, running away, rolling on the ground, just doing these crazy little behaviors.
Right.
And so we took it off, and we do have a clip of us, our second attempt at putting it on,
Okay.
which you told us that to work through the hunger balance circuit, which
Right,
I think
right.
this is a great opportunity for you to tell us more about that.
Okay.
And so we fed her with the collar on, and then the rest of the day, every time she would show these behaviors of being, it looked like that felt like she was being attacked by an eagle or something on her neck.
Right, right.
So we would just feed her, and she did great. And then a couple days later, it sort of resurrected. She started to have this reaction to the collar. So
Is she wearing a collar at all times?
She was, and then my husband took it off, and then I
But
put
when
it
she
back
had this
on.
second episode, was after you took it off or while she had it on?
She had it on. We put it on. We fed her. It seemed okay for a couple days, and we kept it on.
Okay.
We didn't take it off. So it seemed very odd that after 2 days of wearing it and seeming to acclimate to it, she then started to react to it again. And so I just put the food in my pouch, and I just, every time she had that reaction again, I would feed her.
Right.
I wasn't going to take it off again and have to go
Right.
through the whole thing again.
Right, right.
So maybe before the clip, you could tell us what I've never seen that. So what's going on with that?
Well, that's a very good example. Most likely, the mother dog grabbed her and shook her for something, and that's what the collar is reawakening. And as you are quite correct, it is as if a predator has her by the neck, which is how she's instinctually experiencing that. So something she might have been full of energy as 2 days later, and a physical memory came back. She might have caught the collar on something or became aware of the collar, and because she was in that same state of energy, previous memory was triggered.
So it reawoke that physical memory.
Exactly.
It
So
never went away.
Right, right. It'll slowly go away, but it hadn't gone away yet.
I see. Well, we'll watch the clip of Hero getting her collar put back on. And there she is. It's definitely a two-person job.
Easier said than done.
And does Matthew have food with him?
Matthew
Oh, yeah,
has
okay.
food.
This
So
is the second time?
This is the second time.
And the first time, there's no food?
The first time we did food, too.
Okay, you did it on the same way?
Oh, no, the first time we didn't have food. Right. Then we just sort of, see what she does. If she's going to be okay with it or not. And you'll see in a minute
Notices that it's there yet.
the behavior.
So we're just going to let her notice it, and then we'll give her some more food.
Did you see how she kind of...
Just kind of
Yeah.
noticed it a little bit. Looked around her back, thinking, oh, what's there? Feel it.
One momentous day.
Big day. It's gone really loose. So, what's a big difference from the first time you put it on her? She really figured it out. Yes. Hello, baby. You're a big girl now. I'm just wondering if she's gonna know. Now she's starting to freak out. Come on. Can we give her some? Let's see if she can.
You see how she was turning around and
Yeah.
barking
get
at it?
through this. Might be time to call the expert. See what she does.
Okay, see, the thing you're doing wrong is you should be moving. You should be walking.
Okay.
Instead of what's happening is because she's the object of attention, it's triggering that physical memory.
So that,
And-
because she was the object of attraction when that first physical
Attention.
memory was attention,
Yeah.
when the mother
Right.
disciplined her.
Right. And I would also, it's possible she wasn't disciplined and that's the instinct getting triggered. It's in the genes. But I would also, and you can see it's almost like she's had an electric collar on. So
I know.
it's all this ungrounded energy. So when you're the object of attention, the energy's not grounded. So what would be interesting, I would tie a little string to it so she actually has something to bite
Okay.
and grounds herself. And so that she can objectify that feeling on her neck, that sensation of the collar on her neck, the compression. she had a little, some way she could see something that she could bite it.
Okay.
And if she could see that little leash that dangles from it, and she could grab it,
So it would give
and
it
feel a sense of control.
like
yeah.
a physical representation
Right.
of
See,
the
it's
feeling.
invisible to her.
Right.
She can't see it.
Right, because she can't look. She keeps looking behind. What's
Yeah,
that thing?
something's
And-
jumping her. So she actually sees something jumping her.
Okay,
And
so
that's why it reinforces itself.
okay, so attach a
Let her
piece
drag
of
a
rope.
yarn or something,
Okay.
a piece of leather, something she can get her teeth into.
Okay.
And after a while, she'll be relieving it with gripping it, and little by little, it'll become a nothing to her.
Have you seen this? Is this a common thing that happens?
That was pretty pronounced. I can't. It's been years since I've had a puppy that ever do that, so I can't say that's. Usually, you see that with the leash, the dog bucking and going crazy for a leash when somebody's trying to walk it too fast. You know, and usually what you do is just let them drag the leash, and they can bite it and grab it and carry it, and then they get acclimated to it. So I think what you need to do with her is put a string on it, a leash on it, and let her get something to grab. Let her objectify the problem.
I see. Make a problem physical.
Yeah.
Make it an actual physical
Right,
problem
it's-
that she can solve.
Right.
So
So that for her is an existential problem.
right, and she can't do
know,
existentialism.
no.
Right. Okay, I get it. Okay, excellent. How are we on time?
26 minutes.
Okay, we're at the end of the show, and thank you, Kevin.
My pleasure, as always.
Yep. And we will explore dogdom next time. Thank you for watching.